Crashed over me, a whisper in my heart, telling me to trust her and teach yourself to love. It's just another place we're born.
Okay, welcome, Nikki.
Yo, let's see here. That was such a nice intro. Holy smokes.
Thank you. I whipped it up in about 10 minutes, I think. I was like, shit, I need an intro.
I put a big smile on my face. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So we'll just start off with, if you want to just let us know about your journey, how you become the red pill of Netflix.
Of course. Yeah, for those who don't know anything about me, I've been making movies for the last 2.5 years. I compare it to a war photographer, but in today's age, everything that I learned upon awakening to crazy things, I made movies about. So there's about 48 now. I made a ton on YouTube at first, and then I got deleted on October 15th of 2020. I think it was 2020, and there's a lot of people who got nuked that day. So anyway, my life is quite a journey. That it wasn't that I just made these movies and started a streaming service and had a lot of influence on people, waking them up, but with it came a lot of roller coaster up and down turbulence that makes it feel like a Mike Tyson quote where he says, if God favors you, if you look at your life and you see there's a lot of good, but then also the devil's right behind him. And there have been so many challenges along this whole path. Like, for example, going to jail for being a J6er. I'm a January 6er. You can Google the doobie smoker, and you can see that my journey went through jail. That was around film 25. And I ended up at the Capitol, and I filmed the whole thing as a filmmaker. And it got me out of a lot of trouble because I filmed it. There's a lot of people who didn't film it, didn't have evidence of their own. They're still in the jail there that I was in. I was in that DC jail.
That's crazy.
I know. So this whole story, though, I like telling it because for people who are at home who are wishing that they could do something of magnitude toward this cause, toward this awakening, you can. And it really starts with how you are thinking, how you're believing, the thoughts that you're repeating in your head, and how you're spending downtime when you're not using your mind. And so this is what happened in the beginning. For at least in this journey, it was 2019 August, and we had coworkers from where I was working at before come visit. So it was like a special occasion. They were from Texas, and we went out drinking, and I planned on having an Uber drive home. But for some reason, I had the courage to drive home 45 minutes. Ridiculous idea. And on this drive home, I I basically almost died. I almost drove off the Pacific Coast Highway. Fantastic, beautiful freeway. I didn't find out till the next day, next week actually, where we had a shuttle that would take us up to work, and I could see where the car that I had just, like, I knew it hit guardrail on both sides of the car. I could see the evidence of that. So I knew to find the green paint from my car on guardrail would show me where I hit on the freeway. And I found it. Thankfully, because there was some construction or an accident on the freeway, we were going real slow. So I found the spot and I started to cry because I knew if it was just a foot prior, if I had turned right on a swerve just a foot prior, I would have gone off that cliff and my daughter wouldn't have had her dad around. And then the second thought I had was I didn't do movies and music like I thought I would have as a kid. So I kicked it into fifth gear and I started really projecting my image of who I was going to become in the future. And I did that, but it came in a way that I didn't expect it. And that is the way of being a documentary filmmaker. I did not think I was going to be doing that at all. But what happened was I lost my job for being a Trump supporter right after I LLC'd Good Lion Films. I had my first business meeting for a real estate company at the Good Lion Bar in Santa Barbara. And in the bathroom, they had a story typed up in a typewriter about the Good Lion, which was about a lion with wings. It was a poem by Ernest Hemingway. And it was just like a screenplay I had written about a dragon with wings that he couldn't use. So I knew right then and there I was going to call it Good Lion Films. And then I lost my job, for being a Trump supporter. I was too vocal about it. And if I didn't lose my job, this massive bundle of hate probably wouldn't have manifested. And then it was in that moment where I knew I was hating so much on this woman who got me fired that something had to be done with that energy because I hadn't been that angry in a really long time. And so it was in watching Fall of the Cabal where I realized, oh my God, I can do exactly that. I was exhausted debating with people who weren't waking up. Some people you can present the best argument and the best debate, but if they're not ready, they're not ready. So my thinking was, how can I do this for other people to where I'm not exhausting myself? And I was making movies as a kid, so I kind of like knew I could. And then I started, and then I did my fifth one, which was the first one I wrote, and that was Purveywood, and that got like 500,000 views off the bat. And that's when I knew that I was on a purpose and I had to keep going. And that was film number 5, and now I'm on 49. And so,
Crazy, isn't it?
yeah, I don't see myself stopping anytime
It
soon.
leads you to all these magnificent things. Like things happen for a reason, don't they? And then you
Yeah,
manifest something, and poof, it's happened. But your films are fantastic. They really get in
thank you.
there, and it's up for the audience to decide whether they believe it or not, or to do their duty and research as well.
Absolutely. That's the angle I go on it too with, is that most films I'm not convincing you, but I'm challenging you to think, to question. I'm challenging people to question is basically what the films are like. And what's cool is they're different than most films because they're in 432 hertz. That's my voice is being recorded in 432 as well as the music because I make the music for the movies. I also edit them. In the beginning, I pretty much play all I wear all the hats, but I try and make it look like I'm not, just so there's more people that look like they're involved, because you got to make it look like a bigger production, and that's what it feels like, and that's what it is. So you'll see if you haven't on goodlion.tv, there's a Good Lion Films section that's all for everything I've made in the last 2 years. It started off as a service that was free for a year, and then I started charging because I needed to do this for a living. And now it's become a really big ship. It's kind of I didn't expect for this to happen so quickly, but I'm really happy that the influence it has is big. It's yeah.
They're amazing films, and it's worth it. It's like a cup of coffee for a month, for God's sake.
Yeah, it is.
That's how you say it.
Exactly.
It's a beer or something, and the films are so, yeah, they're really touching. And there's a few that I've shed a tear on, and a few that I've just couldn't stop laughing because it's just, we've been lied to so much, and people need to really take ownership and get out there and research for themselves to find the truth.
Yeah, that's a good point. There are some movies I've tried to in making them. And what's cool is when you start making these movies, you start talking to people who obsess over movies and who know what are the best movies, especially of our time. And that is what Good Lion TV has become. It's become a hub for some of the best red pill documentary series out there. Fortunately, for those who are just looking to catch some free material, there's 500 plus free documentaries on there. You just create an account, and that's all in the Red Pill Cinema. There's also daily uploads, which we recently started, and they're about like 3 to 5 minute long clips, or I call them bites, Good Lion bites. And yeah, it's just constantly growing. That's the coolest part. But my favorite is creating. I like today. I'm in like the other side of my brain. I feel like so it's interesting to have a podcast with on this other side of my brain because I've been editing all day, and it's a different vibe that I would give if I was more social all day. But yeah, I mean, I can show you right now or later of what I've done today.
I would love for you to show the audience right now if you wouldn't mind.
I don't mind at all, and I rarely do this. I'll show from the beginning. You're going to see it from the window of the software that I use to make it. And let's see.
I think it's downloaded that software.
It's a great software, yeah.
To do some music, and me with my films, my little shorts that I'm starting to do. It's pretty good. It's
yeah.
To do.
Good. I'm gonna show 5 minutes. Yeah. If you're cool with that.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna hide myself. Okay.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is fettered, no secret is revealed.
The world of predictive programming has only recently begun to surface. To the few who have researched beyond sanity, the world becomes somewhat of a simulation. We become like Neo, awake in the computer world, able to dodge forms of brainwash and influence, like bullets. Likened to the film They Live, the powers of humanity depended on subliminally programming society through films, news, TV, and music. This is then used as propaganda, which Obama made legal in the United States during his time as president. So what are symbols? They're words, and words are frequency, carrying intention. Words hold much meaning in Hollywood. They are the way satanic magicians cast spells. Words are vibration, and vibration is energy. Where energy flows, thoughts go. And where thoughts go, people follow. Words are exactly what controls society at its root level. Twilight language is a term used to describe the seemingly all-pervasive system of symbols and codes subliminally embedded into pop culture, the news, architecture, the names of prominent people and significant places, and even the layout of society in general. I'm in time to understand what is going on here. What's going on? Trying to puzzle all pieces together to understand. Then I understand. So many words and atoms between us. It's alright. I guess it's okay. In the end, it's the way that we plan to listen. Anyway. It's really anyway. The concept of Twilight language was popularized by the work of Michael Hoffman and other Forteans like Lauren Coleman and William Grimstad. A Fortean is someone who researches and investigates Fortean phenomena, or anomalous things such as ghosts, cryptids, and UFOs. The word Fortean comes from the name of Charles Fort, an American writer born in 1874, who attempted to scientifically document stories of strange happenings, such as poltergeist, raining frogs, spontaneous human combustion, unexplained disappearances, and out-of-place artifacts. Other Forteans include people like the late John Keel, a friend of Coleman, and the American journalist who is best known for breaking the Mothman story. He was also one of the first to report stories of the Men in Black and phone tampering among UFO abductees. However, the term Fortean is somewhat synonymous with the word synchromystic, or someone who is involved in synchromysticism, a word coined by Jake Kotz in 2006. It's described as the study of name games, anomalous phenomena, and the meaningful relationship between coincidences. William Grimstad, the writer I mentioned earlier, is a synchromystic known for documenting the Fayette factor, the idea that an unusually high number of 14 events and disasters are linked to places named after Marquis de Lafayette, one of America's Masonic founding fathers. Between 1824 and 1825, Marquis de Lafayette traveled to the country to visit special places, to lay cornerstones and perform rituals. In French, his name basically means the little enchantment or the little fairy. Perhaps Marquis de Lafayette enchanted the places he visited.
Well, you won't be able to show that one on YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube, I could probably throw it in there. They won't strike me, I don't think. They did with Oprah.
Yeah, that was on your birthday, wasn't it? The Oprah?
It may have been. I mean, maybe it probably was. I don't remember. It happens all the time, so I can't really. I don't keep track.
Yeah. And those
Cool.
I like watching your stuff, Nick.
Yeah, isn't it sensational? And the songs.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it also it opens the people, like the reason why I like yours is because it opens people's minds up to add more question and more thought into their process of what they're going through.
Yeah, exactly.
When they see your videos, there's only a very select few of you that I don't know, can seem to do this too. They just offer a video where there's more questions in the video than what they're normally used to. And it gets them really starts to get them thinking.
Right. That's exactly the secret sauce. It's getting people to question. Because I know, like, we've all seen a movie here or there where immediately it feels like something's being shoved down our throat. And a lot of us don't like that. That's how I used to be as a person, actually. And I see people do it now that I don't as much. So it's something that I think happens as you evolve. But I think the only film I've made where I felt like I was coming at it with an angle was Paul McCartney being dead in 1966. On the website, it's Paul is Dead. But yeah, because that one's really fun to tell people about. I told people about that in jail. I was red pilling everyone in jail.
Well, my
Jail was
boyfriend's a big Beatles fan, and he's like, "No way, no."
no,
I heard
he
that.
doesn't believe
I'm
it.
like, "Wait until you see Nick's film," and he's like, "Okay, come over and show me." So
No, it's.
yeah, I'll give you some feedback on that one.
I would love to get feedback because I was a non-believer when I first heard about it. I really thought it was bullshit.
Yeah.
But once I saw one YouTube channel from a gentleman who just posted all the evidence in video form, whether that was the photographer of the Beatles coming clean years later, or whether it was Paul being called Billy by I think it was George Harrison's wife calls him Billy in one video, how they publicly slip in front of a ton of people. That's where I started to pay attention. And there's a lot there, but here, I want to show this real quick. This is what it looks like for those.
When you're fully awake, you just pick up these things blatantly.
Yeah, you can just read it. This is the website. This is what it looks like. It's goodline.tv. You can it takes a little bit to upload or to download all that is on here, but when you're here, here's the front page. Goodline Bites. The short uploads are here. There's a ton of interesting material there, and then they're all my films. You can access them also from the menu at the top. If you go to Films, Goodline Films, and then that's all part of the subscription. If you want to support me and help me on this mission of, keep making movies, I haven't stopped. It's been actually quite a journey. There's a lot here. It's a lot here to look forward to. And also there's TV shows that I do. And that's about 4 episodes a week. There's a weekly report that we do, and then there's typically 3 episodes devoted to a particular series. So right now it's The Pope and the Pimp. And if you scroll down a bit, you'll see all the other shows we've done. These are just fun because it's in collaboration with one of my favorite researchers. You can tell when you listen, it's his voice. And then if you like the music that you hear in the films, you can download the album for free. Actually, that's just my latest album. But there's some goodies on here, for sure.
I recommend the album.
Yeah, that was sick as fuck, that one. I love that album.
Yeah.
That was good to listen to, that one.
Thank you.
When I cleaned the house, and I even took it to a yoga class, and all the ladies were going a bit cray-cray.
What? Get out of town. That's awesome. Well, yeah, Venus Looking Glass. Here are all the options for becoming a member and supporting the plan. But if you want, there's the artist name I have is Venus Looking Glass, and you can find that anywhere if you got it. So that's on like Apple Music, but it's also here on Goodline TV. So yeah, it's a sweet hub. But check it out. If you go to the Red Pill Cinema, you don't have to be paying to enjoy this part. It's probably gonna load like a madman. Cool. So if you have someone new in the family who's just waking up and you can tell that they're gonna wake up, bust them out, like bring them here. It's free. Show them Mouthy Buddha. You're gonna get everything of a pedogate in there. Mr. Truth Bomb is gonna convince them that Trump is still president, and what we're seeing is a shit show. We Are Anon is going to make them a flat earther, whether they want to be or not. It's just going to make them one. And then Follow the Cabal is going to make you passionate about what's really going on with children and how corrupt this whole freaking world is. And then I just make films kind of along the same vein. Oh, yeah. Follow the Cabal, I think, woke everyone up. She's like Grandma Red Pill. She's an amazing woman.
And you've actually spoken with her, is that right?
Yeah, that was a cool time. We were both like, she was excited to meet me. I was excited to meet her. But it's cool because she really, none of this would have been happening if it wasn't for her and her movie. The first movie I made was Swamp, the history of elite child sex trafficking. And that was because of her, basically. And then all of Good Lion, everything that's happened that's been terrible created the next thing for me. Me going to jail, they took my camera, they took my computer, my iPad Pro, they took all my stuff. So when I came out, I had nothing. But because of my fans and supporters, I was able to buy everything again. And then I like recently looked at everything that I fundraised, and there's so much that if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to do. And it's been almost like ever since I almost died in that car, like I've leased life with a contract that I was going to have to do these things that I'm doing now. And so I have like the most expensive cameras and nicest cameras, the most tasteful and cinematic. And it's because of you guys. It's because of my fans. And that is crazy. That's crazy. My whole life turned upside down from that moment onward with the car, to a point where sometimes I wonder if I did die. And this is the afterworld that I'm living right now, where my dreams are coming true, you know?
Yeah. Things happen for a reason, for sure. Well, you're definitely made to do what you do, because it's amazing what you do, you know.
Thanks.
Yeah, so we thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Yeah, well,
And
Yeah.
you've got another new project, the DAP, is that right? That you're joining up
yeah,
with?
yeah, Dads Against Predators. Let's see. I got to throw that link in somewhere. There's a group of dads, two dads, Jay and Joshua. They've been doing this for a couple of years, but just recently their YouTube got censored. They had about 500,000 followers. Their influence was massive, and what they do as full-time dads, they do this part-time. They'll pretend to be a younger person, 12 years old or whatever, and go on Instagram or any dating site. Actually, they can do it on Instagram. It's kind of creepy, but they're so good at this that they can throw a dart blindfolded at the United States map and find 7 predators in any area it lands. And so this is what they do. They eventually plan a meeting with this person in public, and then they show up as themselves. And that is a catch. They catch the people that way, and oftentimes they give them the opportunity to explain themselves, and sometimes it doesn't go as planned, and it becomes quite a shaming experience in public. So quite recently, one of the dads got shot in a store by someone they were catching. Thankfully, he just shot his leg, and he didn't die. He has 4 kids. This dad. So can you imagine they're putting their life on the line like that all the time? And yeah, so they're teaming up now with Good Lion. We're doing a campaign, and there's already some success coming from that campaign. And we're flying them out here, and we're going to do interviews, get deeper in the psychology of why they've done what they've done. Like, their story is one to tell. One of them was molested as a youngin', and as an adult, he goes and catches him. He does a catch, so they record it. He goes to the guy who pretended to be his dad when he was younger and had him touch him and all this stuff, and he calls him out in front of his wife. And they both get in the car and they just drive off, pretending like they didn't know what he was talking about. The next day or two, that man commits suicide. So the influence of what they're doing on people who are probably holding in some deep, dark shit is very massive. And for them to want to team up and make a movie together is really beautiful for me, because I get to, we're all on a mission that's very aligned. So I know that we all have in some way have been affected by either being molested or having someone close in our lives who were. And yeah, like in my case, it was my mom. I'm from Venezuela. My mom's from Venezuela. Her dad is from Venezuela, but he was a priest who molested her, and she didn't find out till she was 40 in therapy. So I think I'm doing what I'm doing as karma. Yeah.
There's a lot of it around, and you know, like I said in another chat that we were talking about, we were showing a screening of Operation Underground Railroad.
Exactly.
I just absolutely adore him, and I've been following him for a long time. And basically we were just in awe of what he's doing and trying to share all that knowledge along social media. You place it out there. I place it on Facebook. I've still got Facebook because I like to red pill a few people and I get in jail quite a bit. But anyway, but you know, you put a status about children being molested or trafficked, and there's not one single like. And then you put a picture of your dog up, and you've got 60 likes.
I know.
You know, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, they're not even sharing this information. It's just they're trying to smokescreen it, like they don't even want to know about it.
Yeah, I think the AI is really good at making sure whatever that is not being shared. Zach Voorhees, he's cool. Maybe we can get him on your show. He's the Google whistleblower. I met him at an event. He's come on my podcast. But he had the evidence. Excuse me. He had the evidence there in his hand and quit, and then was raided by the FBI because he left Google with the proof that they were shadow banning us. Can you believe it? Living in a time where we were digitally shadow banned.
Yeah, I remember seeing a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crazy world that we're living in. I don't know. How is it down there? It's probably, how is it now? How's the vibe everywhere?
It's sort of like there's no such thing as COVID in some places. You still get the odd, you know, aged person wearing a mask, which whatever, you know, but
Yeah.
we're still, you know, the vaccine mandates and stuff are pretty crazy here. I lost my job in disability and aged care work and so on, something that I loved. You know, I studied for years for it, finally got it after being a dental nurse and doing a shit job for a long time. And
Wow.
I get in there for like a year and then I'm booted out because I didn't get the jab. So I could have got a fake jab, but I wasn't complying with the government. I wasn't even going to give them that.
Good. I like your courage like that and that strength. Are they now allowing people back into that job who are not vaccinated? Have they?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
No. Yeah. Nothing with healthcare that you can do it. You can go under the radar. I've done a few jobs, but
That's
yeah,
crazy.
my mission basically now is just to get the communities back together. You know, they're trying to get our food. So we've got Doris here that's active in the community and we're having little community gatherings and
Really?
do a few videos of the young girls singing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it's just about taking back ownership of your life, you know.
Yeah.
So that's
Big
all you
time.
can do, really.
That's all you can do. That's kind of where I'm at now after making all these movies. There's a lot of dark ones. It does a lot on your mind, and you have to take a lot of breaks and get back to normal.
Yeah.
And then realizing now it's like there's a lot of people who are awake now. I don't know if the effort is to really wake up people or to guide people now. I think it's to guide people. I think people are like, okay, we know so much. What do we do? Yeah.
We had Tucker Carlson on our Sky News last night, and we were just like, what the fuck's happening?
Oh yeah,
Tucker Carlson
that
was
was
on news, red pilling
that was
the whole of Australia.
that was epic.
Watch Sky News.
That was
It was
epic.
good, wasn't it, Just?
That
That
does
was
sound
epic.
Tucker Carlson is partially why I blew up with the whole January 6th is because the Daily Caller is one of his news outlets. And then up there under the rotunda, after I realized I had way more joints than I thought, I knew I was going to smoke everyone out. Then once I found it, I recorded this all. So if you have my Instagram, which is Good Lion TV, there's somewhere on there, you have to scroll a bit, but you'll see how I just passed out all these joints and smoked everyone out. But then this dude who was all in black, and I knew instantly, like, this guy's fishy. I'm smoking. He comes up and says, "Hey, man, what kind of weed is that?" And I said it was Pinkberry. So he goes home, uploads it, and it gets 7 million views. It actually had 6.6 million when I first saw it. And that was just the next day. And I thought, 6.6? Oh, my gosh. Now it's at 6.7. But that video is what my brother went to and put at FBI. He told the FBI my full name, and then my little sister did the same, and all my friends from elementary school did the same. And then I went to jail 30 days later. 30 days after smoking a bowl, making some music in Virginia, the SWAT team came in with like maybe 8 SWAT with machine guns, breaking down the door. And I'm in my weed pants and my Trump tank top. And when they get you, they get you. That's it. Like, you can't. I'm like, hey, can I put my boxers on? And they're like, no, sorry. I'm like, oh my God. So my street clothes, I don't even have boxers. I'm going to be so cold. So I had to do Wim Hof breathing like everywhere. Because I didn't want to get sick. Because if you get sick in one of these jails, then you're quarantined all by yourself in solitary confinement. I didn't want that. But the whole entire time, I felt like a celebrity. Not only because of how I looked, but because of how everyone knew what I did. Because I was on the news there when they caught me, and like the people I spent 30 days with in one jail bay area, it's like summer camp. No one tells you when to go to bed. You can watch TV all night if you want. You can have as much coffee as you want. You can work out as much as you want. It's like, so long as you just don't like get in someone's way, you can have a really good time. And for me, like, I really did. I had a charity. I was buying like hot plates for 12 people at a time, having my fans send money to other people's books so they could order food, and we'd have like really big food parties. People were like, what are you doing, Nick? Like, no one does this in jail. It's like, I don't know. I've never been to jail. So I made it fun.
Brother and sister for the experience, huh?
Yeah, everyone who donated during that time. And thank you, brother and sister. Like, I never hated on them, because if I didn't get in trouble for that, people wouldn't have been paying attention to my films as much as they would have. Like, I got to go on all these podcasts and tell people, like, yeah, I'm a G6er, but look, the reason why I'm not in jail still is because I filmed it all. The prosecution sent me their discovery on accident. Like, they're retarded. And in their discovery, they showed, like, I wasn't supposed to see this, so I came prepared once I saw it. But they took a fake image and said it was from my camera. And my camera, for that footage, that time, is a smooth video. They're coming at me with one screenshot of a video. And I knew it was a lie when I saw it. I'm like, that's not from my shit. Because what they're saying is I walked through a bunch of cops before I came into the building, which is the opposite. These cops, they weren't even cops. They just moved away from the door, and I film it. And then we all just walk into this, like, walking through. It was very easy. And so the way they kind of brushed it off when it came to the guilty plea, it's like they subtly just surrendered. Nothing was made a scene. The judge he wasn't going to do anything about it anyway. So I just caught them, and that's all that was about that. And they've done that to a lot of people who didn't have a camera to back up their claim. So there's a lot of people in there still 2 years almost without getting any kind of bond hearing even. It's crazy.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
That's ridiculous.
in everything. There's a silver lining in the whole COVID thing. It's made people globally, become friends. Like you and I've got Justin from another state. It's just an amazing movement, I think. And it's as shit as it's been, and people have lost, and people have, like I lost my mum during it, and that's just an experience that you have to deal with and ride that roller coaster at the time. But the amount of family and friends that you hook up with all around the world, it's phenomenal, I reckon.
Yeah. I guess that is one of the biggest silver linings of it all. I remember before I really reached out to anybody, I had the YouTube channel was around 30K at this time, and I was going through a divorce with my baby mama. And there was a moment where I was getting the boot from the house, and I had to choose how I was going to proceed. And my decision was to ask for help from 30,000 people. I would do a community post, and pour my heart out and let them know what I was going through and that I needed help. And I really didn't want to do it. I didn't want to hit send, but I ended up taking out my tarot cards, and it showed me that if I did hit send, that I would be opening up a new world of family and friends. And that was the moment I knew, like, okay, even though I feel like a bum, I feel like a total homeless guy with a sign on the freeway, I still hit send, and I didn't look for 2 hours. And then what I realized was I just manifested a bunch of new friends, literally right away. Like, no one really helped me the way I needed it during that time. My high school sweetheart pulled through. All of a sudden, she didn't even see the post. It's just some weird karmic stuff. And ever since, my life has been very much like a Zelda video game, like everyone's life has been. And like, you always meet that next person or that next energy that helps get you to where you're gonna go. And if you don't know where you're going, you're not gonna get there. So for me, I know where I have intended to go, and everything that's happened has been a very important lesson in becoming who that is. And it's not easy, so you gotta be careful what you wish for, because you'll be like really thrown in through a lot of shit to learn. If you really want to become something, God's gonna throw you all the stones to step on, I guess.
I think everyone's got talents that they never thought they had as well. Like, I've got people that are learning law, going out into the justice system and just spreading some truth bombs about common law, and it's fascinating.
See what happens once people are tuning in, they like find their way into whatever that is. Yeah.
We're a channel now, and we're doing so much. It's just, I would never have thought that this would be my journey, basically. But
right?
Yeah.
It's
just fascinating how it all aligns in together.
Where do you see it headed? Your journey in 5 years from now, which is such a hard thing to do, even for the world to think about what it'll be like in 5 years. But for you, have you gone that far out, and what does it look like?
I want to get a big property and basically open it up. Humanitarian, do gardens, do little parties, have a big campfire, take in some kids, get some animals, just open it up to the community, teach people, skills of learning, and have some social workers in there. And
that's it right there, I think.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. That's what it's all about. It's about helping people, and we forgot how to do that.
Yeah, they don't teach you either. What's cool is when I went through all those jails, I went through 4 jails, and the first one I was in for 30 days, and then the other ones were the journey to DC. Once I was at DC, it was solitary confinement for 2 weeks, and that's just being in a cell for 23 hours, getting out for an hour to order food, take a shower, whatever. But the best part of being in solitary confinement, it feels like you have a maid who brings you food and does your laundry, but also you get to read, and you fall in love with reading again. And the book I read was called Outliers. It was probably the only book I ate up real quick. And what's cool about it, they talk about a village of people, and I think it's Pennsylvania. They initially came from a town in, I believe it is Italy. Rosecrans is the area. A few people came from there to New York, and then they went from New York to Pennsylvania, and they pretty much started their own village. They had more people from their hometown in Italy come over. Eventually, everyone there was from Italy, so they had their own little thing happen, and something I envisioned I would create and like you would create. So why do I bring them up? Because later on in time, they start to, people who study health and longevity start to realize that the people who live in this Pennsylvania area, they're living longer, and they're not necessarily healthier in body type. They're still obese. They're still eating the typical American diet. So what is it? So they go and they find out what it is, and they trace their roots to Italy, to this small town, to where they all did the same thing that they brought over to their town now in Pennsylvania. And that was basically a porch life living where you're that connected to your neighbors, that you're going to their house, to their porch, having wine, having small snack, enjoying life. They probably didn't have to work as much, and they probably didn't have to stress that much, but they kept that still going. And that's what I found beautiful, because we could create that and we'd be living way longer despite even breaking all the rules of health, because it's that whole unity. It's that, like, it's the same concept where you take two rats or one rat, give it cocaine water in a lonely environment. It'll choose cocaine water and it'll kill itself. But if you put cocaine water and water inside of an environment with a shitload of other rats and toys and stuff, it will no longer choose the cocaine water. It'll just drink regular water and have a good time with its friends. So it's all about the community. So I like that you got that vibe, because that's what we need.
Well, that's what we used to have. Like when I grew up, we were neighbours out the front, didn't come home until the streetlights went on, and had all the neighbours over having parties. It was none of this TV bullshit. It was, kids could be kids. You could ride your bike, you could feel free. And I feel sorry for our kids. Like I say to my son all the time, get off the PC. And he's, oh, what am I going to do? And I'm just like, just go out and enjoy yourself.
I know, right? What are they going to be like when they get older? Are they going to be needing direction all the time, or the opposite? I hope. But I love being a kid and getting into trouble. I don't feel like
my son, get out there and experience life a little bit,
Yeah.
Now, so I shouldn't really give him that bit of advice because he might be a bit crazy. But anyway, we'll find out.
That's true. Yeah, at 13, 12, I was lucky to have hours a day to just play piano or to just mess on a computer. That's like all I was doing at that age. Yeah.
My son's just picked up. He loves drawing and music as well. So he's always on there doing little artistic stuff. But the gaming part of it, I can tell when he's gaming because of his attitude. When he's doing music and art, he's so loving and yeah, Mum, what do you need? But gaming, a whole different attitude. He's like,
oh wow,
crazy. Yeah,
that sucks.
Wonder if a lot of other mums find that with their kids, because
most likely it makes a lot of sense. It's like frequency is everything. Yeah, you put in a good vibe into a shitty pool, that good vibe might be infectious. And
exactly.
Yeah, it's hard out there.
I try to repel him quite a bit, don't we, Justin? We'll say, listen to this documentary. He just hangs, he's just like, what are you talking about now? But he's pretty awake for his age, and I think it's good. I think we need to teach our kids a little bit more.
Yeah.
For them, but they need to know what's going on,
That's a good thing about Good Lion Films. It's we're kid friendly. I know a lot of kid fans who enjoy it because of the approach, and also it's almost like you get a little bit of red pill for everyone. You get some beginner and also advance all in one film at times. But the last one on Oprah, Preview on Oprah. Most people don't know Oprah was a supporter of a really dark, I guess, Brazilian priest who was pretending. He was more of like a farmer, a woman, a baby farmer. He had a bunch of women underground that he would breed children through, and then he would kill those women after they gave birth, and he'd sell these babies all around the world. And Oprah was all about this dude, John of God. I remember dating a woman at that around this time who was telling me, I'm going to see John of God. I thought, who the heck is that? And now I'm like, whoa. I was 20 and she was in her 50s. I like him older. But now look at that. Oprah's a dark lady. That's a short one.
Yeah, my nephew I think my nephew about 5 years ago was like, have you heard of, Pizzagate? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was just like, you're insane. And then he would slowly drip it to me, and I was just like, what? This is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And that's a sure way to get people really woken up. I'll do that in jail. Tell people about Pizzagate in jail. Tell them about adrenochrome. People will listen. They'll understand truth if it's heard.
Yeah.
And you let people decide. You don't really have to tell them whether it's true or not, but I think, the more equanimous you are, the more people will wake up to it if you don't force it down.
And I think
Like
that
on
was the
the
issue at
Good
the
Line.
start. I think
What's that?
everyone was trying to. I think that was the issue at the start. Everyone was forcing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
get this injection. It's going to kill you, and you're going to grow another arm or whatever it's going to do to them. People
I
were
know.
just like, "Whoa, you're crazy." And I think it was that direction. But we've never been through this before, so that's just how it is.
It is how it is. Everyone did it in their own way. Some people yelled at their family. Some people left their family. Some people now have family that's dying. And there's people all around the world who are dying all of a sudden, like we said.
Yeah.
So I don't know how real this black-eyed baby being born thing is. I haven't seen one. I can't tell if it's true or not, but I've seen photos. They could be fake. So I don't know if that's real. And I don't know if what we're going to see in the next 5 years. Are we being numbed to believe that there's a force of white hats out there that are actually doing something? There are amazing clues and crumbs that show that there are, but are they purposefully left like the Bolshevik Revolution, where they leaked these documents that people thought were from the CIA of their type, but really it was purposefully leaked so people would assume that a greater force had their back, so that they were docile and didn't do anything. Like there was a mantra even then. It wasn't trust the plan, but it was very similar. And it had the word plan and trust in it. So are they doing the same thing now? Are we falling into a trap? These are all the things I think about in making all these movies and seeing all these dates. Everyone talks about these dates, and then nothing happens on those dates. And then the next day, everyone's
goes up, and then you're let down, and you're dark and depressed for the next couple of days.
yes. I was in jail for 45 days. I didn't have any iPad to pay attention to Telegram and to see the news or anything. I had an iPad for different types of things on Android. But when I came out, I noticed everyone was still in this place where I was amazed to remember I was in. But if I didn't have jail to get me out of that whole groove, I wouldn't have realized it. But it was almost like I got out of jail and immediately some key friends of mine were like, "It's happening, dude. It's happening this week." And then like every 4 months, it's happening. No, it's not happening. I don't think anything is happening that they're saying is happening. And it's just hard to say right now what's really going on. I don't know what the hell is going on. People might think I should know.
Things, there's little things that you're like, but dates and so on, it's just like, this is my second Red October, apparently. Like it's
I
Red
know.
October, get ready. Okay, what's going to happen?
Red October 2.
Yeah.
I know. And in this whole thing,
you might have to do a movie on the Red
I
October.
could.
Yeah.
I see people that like big truthers who milk this kind of thing. And I know they do it in their own way I don't like how they do it. I've been calling some out because it's not cool. They do it for money. And it's like July 4th. Big thing on July 4th was supposed to happen. Nothing happened. And so like, I know I saw a bunch of people who were doing something and it's just annoying. But anyway, like, I don't know where we're at now because of all this noise. And one person I follow is Max Spears. I made a weird history episode on him. He said a lot of the information that he ended up sharing came from a place where he put all of his technology away. He put his phone away. He put everything away. TV, wouldn't even read. He would just let memories surface. That's kind of where I've been at lately. I don't know what's going on purposefully. And I'm making a movie right now, like, it's not really relevant to today, but it is. It's all about symbolism, like you saw. But I have no idea what is going on by design. And it's made me a lot I think, happier.
Yeah, you just have to pull back a little, have a little breather. Yeah, it's crazy, crazy times. Crazy times.
It is crazy. Yeah, I hope everyone else is doing okay. I think the most important thing now is to find a spiritual bone to build your whole life around, because if things are or aren't happening the way we want them to, we can get through it if you have a strong spiritual backbone. So that's basically where I want to make more movies around, is helping people figure that out, how to do that.
Yeah, I think we need that. I started a Heal Me page as well for some meditation and just
Cool.
better eating. And we've got a little fork tune dude that comes in and he's going to do a fork session with everyone to get some vibrations going. So that's what it's all about, all of us coming together to change the world in a good way.
Absolutely. And that's how I started another company called Ari. You'll see it on the website in the store, but it's for autistic children and adults. And what we've seen is what I knew would happen. It's because the herbalist who makes this told me what it does for people. And so now we make it together. And if you or anyone you know has autism, we can ship this over to you guys as well. They just wear this topical. They put it in their belly button or under their feet. And it's about 4 drops you lead up to. So in the beginning, it's 2 drops. It's nothing when you think about it. But what it does is absurd. So we have kids who are staring, locking eyes with their parents again. They're dancing. They're speaking sentences, full sentences. And if you're a parent who's in this kind of hell, who's in this prison cell, and you start to see the gate open up for you to have this freedom, things change. Everything changes. So that's the kind of love that we're getting from people who are buying it. And it doesn't stop there. The people who made this are driven by God, and they are told what herbs to distill, and that's how they create it. So they've asked God for the support for a lot of other illnesses. And so just think about that. If you have that in mind and you're looking at the product and you see that this works, you can email us and read in between the lines, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that one.
Yeah.
Cool.
You had a look at that, didn't you, Just? I think you watched the one Alpa was with one of the mums. Yeah, and it was extraordinary, saying that her son actually said that he loved her, which is us parents take that for granted. You know, like
Right.
some people think it's just a word, but it's such a precious word for your child who's never been able to speak properly to you to say that to you. It's just brings a tear to your eye, I think. You know, it's just so
For
beautiful.
sure. That's big. It's crazy just to think a few distilled plants can do this. But then you really start to understand the power of vibration, frequency, because that's really what you're doing. Is you're just matching, you're putting that frequency on you, and it goes through your body and it does a detox and where it needs to. But with the autism, it's a 2-way thing. There's a detox one and then there's an autism one. So first you do the detox to get all the heavy metals out of your brain, and that gives more space for the autism one to work after that. But yeah, that's been my life lately. It's now it's
extraordinary journey that you've had so far.
Yeah, it's been extraordinary.
Yeah, but
And
it's a good journey. It's been good, like watching you progress and get to where you're going. It's been good watching and keeping an eye on you. Like, yeah, you're doing really good, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it must be really fun to watch from the outside. It's fun from this side, from this perspective. It was very hard to find a place to live. That was really difficult. But where I am now, I love where I'm at now. I feel like I'm in a movie where I make movies, but my life is such a movie. You can Google the doobie smoker, and that's who you're gonna see is me. But I live at one of the biggest weed influencers of California when California made weed legal. This guy was the number one sales for the number one company. So he was the face of this company that all the rappers in California and in that time were associated with. So now I'm living with him, and it's a really nice house. It's like a 3-story tennis court, swimming pool. Looks like the Playboy Mansion swimming
I
pool.
was going to say that.
Yeah, there's like a batting cage, there's waterfall, there's a gym, arcade. This is stupid. It's just crazy. But it just reminds me that not to take everything so seriously. Life is very much like a simulation. Like, yeah, I really do believe we're in a simulated like environment where our thoughts are very much like a program where you can create your world. Because think about this. Before I came here, I was obsessed with saunas and ice baths. Now there's a sauna in my closet, and I have such a huge tub here that I made it my ice bath. So it's like, how do I manifest like this all the time? It's weird.
It's amazing what manifestation can do.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing when you put your mind to it.
I mean, yeah, what you think about, you become. I think that's really it's really what it is.
I'll see if does anyone have any questions. Justin, is there anything you want to jump in with or have a chat about with Nick?
I think just let someone else ask a question if they've got one.
Yeah. So if anyone's got a question for Nick, just jump in. This is silence comes in.
They've all gone shy now.
That's okay.
They usually jump in.
No, it's you can ask anything.
Great chat, guys. I just have a bunch of little kids running around. It's a bit hard to ask.
Can I ask how I can find out more about the autism treatment?
Mm-hmm. Check it out. Let me show you real quick. Okay. When you're on goodline.tv, go to the shop, and then you'll see pretty much Ari is the brand. I created this about 5 months ago. And then you can click here and learn what the ingredients are for each one, and then how much they are. And then you can read about, there's a commercial I made here for it as well, which will provide you more information on it. It's about 2 minutes long. And then you can see the reviews. You can watch this video, which is a tearjerker. You'll get kind of what I described from earlier, but this is from another person. And then same thing, there's written reviews, and then there is an audio.
Out after watching that father.
Yeah, this is real shit. Yeah, when you see what is really happening, it does. It's cause for tears for sure. It's pretty cool because I just really, there's a man I saw doing this, and I made him a commercial 2 years ago just because I felt like he needed help in getting his product out there. And I didn't charge him or anything. And yeah, that was it. And then 2 years later, he wanted to team up and do something together, and this was it. So it's cool how the world works like that. But yeah, if you go to goodline.tv and then go to shop at the top, and then there's a chat function on the website. Like if you have any questions, put it in there, and we'll reach out to you. If not immediately, a little bit later.
So you ship to Australia, no problem.
We have been, yeah. Just a little. I think it's $10 extra or something. But yeah, we've been doing that, and soon we're gonna figure out how we'll have more of a hub out there so that we can send a whole bunch and reduce the time it takes for people to get it.
Well, hello. Here's your hub. You can send it this way.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Exactly.
We've got someone in each state now. We've got our supply chains. We've opened up supply chains. We've got emergency chains in each state. We've got business.
There you go, mate.
Sweet.
Definitely.
You've got your Australian contact, and then you've got each state set up already.
I'll have Alba reach out to you.
Yeah.
Sick. Cool.
You can definitely help with that.
Yeah, so it's cool working with him because there's everything. We're working on a bipolar, on a Parkinson's, and a thyroid. Eventually, it's just going to be a whole array of supplements.
Yeah.
Alzheimer's would be good, mate.
Yeah.
Right?
Crazy.
A lot of people I realize sit on the autism spectrum. I think I do too. I think that's like where my ADHD comes in from. And I've been taking it, and it changes me. It changes me for the better. Just putting the oil under your feet. It's that easy.
Takes away that fogginess, that fog that you get.
Yeah, 100%. Big time.
Any other questions?
That also leads into like parts of like the old Chinese medicine, Eastern medicine, and things like that, where a lot of us we don't even know about that kind of stuff anymore. Or it's been removed from our ability to find it, kind of thing. So people don't have lost all that kind of techniques as well. So yeah, it'll be good to see all that stuff starting to come back.
Absolutely. That's true. It makes people believe in the power of something so simple. A lot of pharmaceuticals are using natural plants, and then they do a lot of altering to it. So yeah, a lot of medicine is just from plant, which is beautiful.
Yeah, the earth is beautiful. We've got
then they.
Sorry, Just go ahead.
No, you're all right. Go.
Can't see you.
Camille, you're talking about Camille.
Cutting you off. Yeah. Yeah, so we've got Camille, who was an ex-paramedic that had to leave due to mandates. And what was it, Justin? His mother was into all herbal remedies, and he's phenomenal. Like, the knowledge that he has. I'll take a photo of a weed, and he'll say, use it for this. Boil it. Put it in your oven.
Wow. That's great.
Micro-dosing with mushrooms. I think that's one that we're all going to try one night on probably a What the Fuck Friday. We'll get in there and do some micro-dosing. I think everyone needs a good micro-dose, especially with the world we're living in.
Oh, yep, hand up.
I love micro. It's fun. It's good. It's healthy. It's like a ADD medicine. Keeps you focused, makes you happy. It's subtle. It's not even really in the way. You know, I like things that help me on the way, not get in the way. So I wish I had some. I like the chocolates, the big chocolate bars where you can just cut off a little square and that's all you need. I love it. I love the feeling you get there.
Yeah, I think we've all got a few funny stories of our little experiences, no doubt. I wish Scotty was still here because Scotty just had an experience lately, which was
really.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, what's next for you, Nick? What's after this one? What's something else that you're going to dive into?
After this one is Escaping the Simulation Part 2. That one's about the sentient world simulation. That is basically all the information that we have that's digital, anything that website, any purchase, any movement from our GPS, from our phone, it all goes into a supercomputer where some really big companies pay to understand what a digital version of you is doing. And they've created a digital version of all of us in this quantum computer to where they could even now see what we would do in the future. So they're able to understand us more than we understand ourselves even. to a point now where they think AI can alter our reality by affecting that reality in that computer system. So I teamed up with Nick Hinton and he's the guy who a lot of my sci-fi movies are written with. So this is from his research, and I just love what he does. So after that, Pervywood, Oprah will get its part 2, and then by that time, I might be done with a few of these other documentaries that I'm doing in person, like the Dads Against Predators, and I don't know. There's a few other ones I can't really talk about,
There's
but
the Land Down Under, isn't there, that you're going to do? A little
the Land Down Under. Am I?
Aussie film. You told me
Of course.
not to wish, put it out.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, if you write me something, it can happen quicker.
Okay. Maybe we should all get together, truth seekers, and start writing some stuff.
You can. I'll make a nice film of it. Yeah.
And when are you allowed to travel abroad now?
So I have community service that I've pretty much almost finished with my probation. And then I have 2 years probation is the punishment with this misdemeanor that they got me with. And I'll most likely be done with everything a year in. So then I can petition to get it off early. So by March, I bet you I can come out and play around the world again.
Yeah. Well, we might even have a little something under our belt, what Justin and I are trying to get together over this side. So we'll try to get in contact with Lewis after he's finished the Truth Tour. So we're going to collaborate with him a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like hearing that. That's good stuff.
Why not? What else have we got to do? We've got no job. They've took our job. So why not just get out there and take back our country and help people?
Yeah, you got to do it however you can, however God has asked. We all have to. Yeah.
Well, does anyone else have any?
It's exactly like you've done.
Yeah, go.
Yeah,
it's exactly like you've done, Nick. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll continue. I see the other ways I'll do it. It's going to be interesting to keep watching. You'll see.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Cool.
Anything else? Justin, is there anything else that you want to speak to Nick about, to dive into anything else? Or how long have you got left, Nick?
I got about like 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
I'm just exhausted from editing all day. It's been nice. I was out for a month. I was sick with bronchitis and laryngitis. So it's been cool to have the energy and the flow back. Because that got me down. I rarely take breaks. So I'm very glad that I was given that break. Yeah.
You participated in the Truth Tour and that, didn't you, Nick?
No. This one, yes.
No?
Part 2. Nah, I didn't do the first one. And the second one, it looks like I'm doing LA and Anaheim. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'm going to tell my story and help people with manifestation. I think that's the thing I have now. Because I've done it. I've seen the rewards from it. And now if it helps, I need to help show people how to do it. Whatever it is.
Another show where you can teach a few of
the
audience members how to do some manifestation.
Yeah. There's a few concepts I've learned that I've taken for granted. And now I can bring it forth. So let's do that. We can build something.
Yeah.
Well, Scotty's back.
Oh, Scotty's back.
Yeah.
Snuck in. Go have a little bit of a smoke, Scotty. But thank you heaps.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, jump on with us.
Yeah, it's been great to have you on. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thanks heaps, and we'll definitely do a part 2, and we'll keep in touch.
Sounds good.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. I'll be showing you the movie when it's done.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Perfect.
Alrighty, fam. I'll talk to you later.
See ya. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
See
See
you
ya, mate.
later.
You guys hear me at all?
Yo, Scotty.
Can
How are
now.
you? I'm just
Hi.
gonna.
Can
I've got a
hear
call coming
ya.
through. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Righto.
Oh, I've had the
Just 1
worst
minute. 1 minute.
reception the last couple of days. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I thought you might be having a bit of trouble.
Is it raining there, Scotty? Because I find that when it rains, that's when it really interferes. Yeah, my
getting those
reception
heavy,
really goes.
heavy dense clouds over above, and just sort of sit there, and then the rain as well, and you lose sort of reception. So seems to go weak, and then all of a sudden you get punched off, something like that. That's happened a couple of times. Unless I'm saying something I shouldn't be saying.
Sorry about that. It was Fines Victoria that was trying to call me.
Is that about your speed fun?
Yeah, I don't know what one it is. So they've left me a voicemail. So I'll be jumping on to see what they're saying. I think they're chasing me from one from like 2016 where I pulled in and I was lost in this part in Victoria somewhere that I was unfamiliar with. And I just like pulled over to the left and it was a no standing and I didn't turn my ignition off. I just sat there with my ignition on and they gave me a fine then and I fought it. I had diagrams, I had everything. And they were like, nope. But now I know some legality stuff. I might take their call.
A good call, Becky. A good call.
Yes, well, I've got some good news. Kirstine has finally teamed up with, managed to get her in contact with Sandra Crack, the sheriff lady who's been having a lot of success. So those two finally spoke, and I think some information was shared, and so it's looking like it's going to be really good when it starts working out with them two, and then hopefully some more jump in.